Hello everyone! Today we're going to be watching Inception.
So remember, in order to fully grasp Inception, you got to go to sleep. So, 3, 2, 1...
Hello and welcome to the Damian and Devlin Show. This is our review of Inception, the 2010 drama, thriller, sci-fi, I guess, directed by Christopher Nolan, starring Leonardo DiCaprio, Tom Hardy, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and Ken Watanabe, and Marion Cotillard? Did I say that right? What?
Oh, sorry. I just had a dream that we reviewed Inception.
Well, that's what we're doing right now, but I'm having troubles with that one actress's name, Marion
Cotillard.
Cotillard, yes.
French.
Ellen Page and Michael Caine are in here. I don't know if I said Michael Caine already, but he's such a good actor. Twice is good enough. This is, one of the most loved movies, and from one of the most loved directors, Christopher Nolan, and I saw this one in the theaters.
So did I.
This was actually the second time I watched it, and do you have anything to say on our initial...
I mean, what is there not to say about Inception? This movie is infamous for its plot, its theories, its speculation. There's a lot to go on with this movie, and we are glad to dive right into it. I mean, let's first talk about the plot.
Yeah, I think you should talk about the plot because I think you understand it more than I do.
I do.
All right.
It's because I have intellect.
Oh, I don't.
You do kind of need a little bit of time to not only digest this plot, but also to try to fully understand it. This movie, its plot is a little convoluted, and by a little I mean a mountain-sized of convolution. It kind of came off, the first time I saw it, like you needed a degree in psychology to understand it. You needed to understand sleep and what goes on when we dream, brain matter, and all of that. I've seen this movie now a total of, I believe, 3 times, possibly 4. And on the third watch through, I'm still noticing new things. Basically, to sum it all down, it's about a movie of going to sleep, but going to sleep and manipulating people's dreams. And there is a whole cast of characters that share the same dream, and they keep going into dreams within dreams, and the further you go, the more convoluted it gets. We'll touch on some key plot points there, but it is a very good movie, and I have a lot of good things to say about it. There are a couple negatives, but we'll get to that. What did you like about the movie?
Well, I liked a lot of this movie. There is so much of this movie that I really love. But I don't love it as much as everyone else.
You don't Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Oh, God, did you go there?
I did.
I like to think of this movie as a beautifully orchestrated hot mess. Because, yes, I think you need to be really intelligent or psychological, but then I think to myself, no, I just think that they answer questions with questions, and they just add stuff. In fact, this movie should be called what's that? Explanation, the movie, or Exposition, the movie?
Exposition.
Because I swear half the time between beautiful special effects.
Oh, so many beautiful
in between, all you get is, I didn't tell you this earlier, but we're going to tell you it now. Like, they're making it up on the spot. I don't think they did, because the screenplay seems a little well thought out. I'll give them that. But at times, it almost feels like they're just making stuff up. And I'm sorry, that's just how I took it. But that is my initial feeling of this movie. And I honestly don't... What I'll give it credit for is it is one of those movies that's awesome to see with friends, and then you talk about what you think you got out of it. Okay? Now, I'd rather talk about other movies, personally, because for me, I wasn't invested as much as with the characters. But what saddens me the most is this is an amazing cast. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying the characters aren't developed, but I think the Leo character is more developed than most of the others, but my biggest problem, and Leo always brings it, even in a bad movie, Leo, you can tell he's acting his ass off. But my problem is that because you never know, I'm in a dream now, I'm in a memory, I'm in this, I'm in that, I never know what character, so I lose interest in getting to know him because of that. And then the other characters are just there to kind of do their jobs. It's kind of like a dream heist film.
It is a dream heist film, but
in
instead
some ways,
of taking something, you're planting something, and the something is an idea. And there is an overwhelming sense of the most dangerous virus or disease in the world is not something like the flu or SARS, it's an idea. And if you can plant an idea in somebody's mind on a deep enough subconscious level, then they start to think that it's their own idea. And that's basically what they set out to do in this movie. Ellen Page's character, actually, I believe, takes on the role of the audience member because she's the newest member of the crew. She has all these questions, and she has to be the one that's given all the explanations. So she basically is there for us. And I'm thankful that she is, and it's not just a crew of veterans, because if it were just a crew of veterans and no new rookie, then I believe this movie would have been a lost cause. Nobody would have understood it.
I will give you that, yeah. That's a great observation.
The cast is phenomenal, though. I have no complaints whatsoever with any of the acting. I will agree with you. Some of the characters do come off as a little, I'm just here for the job, and that's fine. I will disagree with you, however, on Leo being the only person with character development. I believe Ellen Page's character has a little bit of development. I also believe that Tom Hardy's character has a little bit of development. Joseph Gordon-Levitt isn't going to love it, my explanation, but I do believe he is the flattest character in the movie besides a character named Yusuf. And it's not against him. It's just the character that he's playing. He's there, he's the expert, he knows what he's doing, and he's frustrated that everybody else can't follow their own rules. It does come off as a little bit flat. However, he is involved, leading to my next point about set pieces and practical and special effects. He's actually involved in some of the most amazing cinematography I've seen in a movie ever. There are two instances of this. One, he's in a hotel fighting, and the gravity starts to go a little awry, and you can see him slipping and whatnot, but there's still gravity, and he can walk and run on walls. Then the gravity goes away, and I've never really seen such a well choreographed fight in zero gravity. I was watching it going, how did they film this? This is absolutely beautiful. On top of this, the practical effects, the special effects, when you get into the dream worlds, you have Ellen Page's character, she's learning how to create and craft worlds within dreams, and there are some beautiful shots. So you'll see a cityscape behind the character start to come up and then down and fold over. Looks seamless, looks beautiful, even for 2010, still holds up to this day. Then you have a scene of Leo and Ellen Page sitting at a cafe, and then everything just starts to fall apart and explode around them. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this is gorgeous. It's like cinematography porn is how good it looks. And I honestly have no complaints about the special or practical effects either.
No, I agree with you. The scene with the fight in 0 Degree at the hotel, clipped with the sequence of the van. There's something that happens to a van. I won't give it too much away, but the shots inside the van and stuff are really kind of beautiful with it, and it works really well together. I didn't like all the dream sequences in this movie, but I do give them credit that there's a lot of great visual stunts. I think some of the action was a little not as great. The fight scene you mentioned is good. I really don't like when they get to a certain level that looks like a snow scene from a James Bond film. I don't know what action's happening because they're shooting at random things and stuff. There's a scene where they're trying to overtake the van, and I swear the guy grabs a gun like it's no problem. There's no fight to it. It's almost like the guy hands him the gun through the window. So there were a couple of problems I had in that, but visually this movie has some wonderful things. As I said, I like the movie. I wish I could love it more, but there's so many things that I had some issues with.
The soundtrack on this movie as well is pretty good.
Hans Zimmer.
Hans Zimmer did a fantastic job, and this is where that Christopher Nolan has a thing where he releases a trailer and it'll start with that horn or that really deep bass noise, and this is the movie that kind of started it all off. And it's seen in things like The Dark Knight Rises. It's seen in things like coming up, Tenet is about to release. And that's just notable. And it's good. I enjoyed the music within it. There's even a little snippet, I believe, of a French song. And they only ever really play the first 3 or 4 seconds of it. But it works.
Played a lot, yeah.
It's played a lot throughout the...
It actually made me want to go and listen to the whole song.
That's
because
what
it was just
I'm going to talk about.
Are we going to see anything more? You go ahead.
It's a plot device, and it works very, very well. And again, it fits with the theme and the tone of the movie. So again, soundtrack on this, absolutely stellar.
Yeah, I have no problems with Hans Zimmer. He really does a great job. He's actually becoming one of the best in the business. And he's done so many incredible and very diverse movies, too. Christopher Nolan, his direction is really great in this. And you could tell he likes working with certain actors, because it was like Christopher Bale wasn't available. So besides Leonardo DiCaprio, we basically got most of the cast from Batman, The Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight Rises eventually. But that's okay. There's nothing wrong with liking actors, and let's work with them, especially, as we've said, a stellar cast, like an incredible cast. Like any movie would be levitated. Like you could give a really bad script, and these people could all take it and make it look like, I think that was a good movie.
Yeah, I really want to know, honestly, when whoever wrote this script, and they placed it on the desk of some Hollywood producer and said, this is my next movie. I really want to know what that producer thought reading it, because I'm sure if I sat down to read the script without actually seeing the movie, I would be lost. I would be absolutely lost. So that has to touch on my negatives of this movie.
I will say one thing before you get on the negatives. I agree with you. I don't think this movie would have been made except because it was Christopher Nolan, and he has become like one of the greatest directors. You know, I think a lot of people say he's up there already after a short, brief career. I think his clout says something. I think that's why he can get away with pretty much anything.
Possibly.
Even something like Tenet, I don't think could be made, except it's like, put your trust in him.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, your negatives.
Well, I mean, I'm going to kind of hijack your point there, is because, yes, me, an unknown director, I direct all our shorts here on the channel. If I were to place this script on somebody's desk or send it to a Hollywood studio, they would throw it out. But if I were Christopher Nolan, they may not understand it, but they'll say, oh, Christopher Nolan, let's go with it. It'll be good. It'll put butts in seats. We'll make some money off of this. That's my negative, is that the script itself is so convoluted. And yes, it is exposition, the film at times. I've seen this, like I said, 3 to 4 times now, and sometimes I still have a hard time understanding just exactly what's being shown on screen. I understand they're in dreams, but then there's a point where you're like, what level of the dream are they on? And unless you're paying very close attention, or like in my case, have seen it multiple times, you might get lost in the shuffle. And that might lead to a very unsatisfactory experience when watching this movie. Have you seen it? You said you saw it in theaters.
I did.
So this is your second time seeing it?
This is my second time theater, and honestly, if I never saw it again, I still enjoyed it, but it wouldn't break my heart. I'd rather watch Dark Knight or Dark Knight Rises or something else by Nolan.
And see, that's to me a very unfortunate thing, is because I enjoy this movie, and because I've seen it 3 to 4 times, I understand it a little bit more than a casual viewer, such as yourselves. If you are a casual viewer, you might be like, okay, now I'm actually really interested. If you have never seen this movie, give it a shot for sure, because you're in for definitely a visual, an auditory treat, but give it a chance. Ask your questions for sure. There's plenty of theories online, which I'm about to get to in a little bit, about the movie itself. Like I said, this movie is infamous with its theories and just plot points. It's hard to get into, but it has to remain a negative for me because of the difficulty of the comprehension.
And I will go off that before you get into your theories and my negatives. And I will agree, I might not be giving it the biggest love here, but I do still enjoy this movie, and I recommend everybody see it. Because I'm a believer, even if I hate it, I would never tell someone to say, do not go see it. This is an experience to see. I honestly think this is a movie that actually works better on a bigger screen. But once you saw it on a big screen, you could see it on a small screen. But I think if you get to see it on a big screen, that's really the way to go. I my problem with this story is I like the idea of going into dreams. I love that kind of stuff. I know I showed you a movie called The Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. External Sunshine.
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, starring Jim Carrey.
And I thought that I love the idea of playing with that kind of stuff. But what I got out of this movie is there's a lot of gaslighting in this movie. Like trying to make people thinking, and I am
Make people what?
They're gaslit.
Yeah, but what are they trying to make people?
This movie is all about trying to get people to do things that they wouldn't normally do, like put suggestions, put ideas in their minds.
But how is that gaslighting?
Gaslighting is when somebody, if you're in a relationship and somebody makes you believe you're something that you're not, or if you abuse somebody and then eventually they start believing it. Gaslighting is it's like thing. And to me, watching this, it was like a bad relationship affects so many lives. And if there wasn't that aspect to it, this would have gone off kind of interestingly enough. And I just felt that it was the bad decisions that the lead characters make in this, especially Leo. And even though he plays it right, I just found that it's like, God, he was in a bad relationship, and look at all the lives it affected and ruined and stuff like that. And I just hate gaslighting in general. If it made for an emotional movie, but this movie has a bit of emotion, but it seems like it's painted on in parts. That's my problem.
I'll disagree with that.
Yeah, of course you will.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with the term gaslighting to describe the plot point of this movie. Yes, there are mistakes made by cast members in character. I shouldn't say cast members, I should just say characters. There are mistakes made for sure, but that's what makes them human. Leo's character is very confident and full of himself. He knows that he can handle everything that happens in the movie, and even when things start to spiral out of his control, he's still confident that he can try to handle it, even though it is a detriment. That's human. That makes him a fleshed out character.
No, not really. Not when you're only thinking about yourself and this woman that you're in a relationship with, and you don't care about the lives that you're affecting that are following you blindly into it. But that's just me.
I disagree.
Right.
Anything else that you...
No, I'll let you go with your theories, because I don't have any theories on this.
Well,
I did my theories. It's like a bad relationship causes problems.
There are several theories about this movie.
Yeah.
Overall...
Just don't go too spoiler in the theory thing.
Well, how would I go spoilers about it?
Well, when you say a theory about what this movie's about, that's a spoiler, right?
It's not a spoiler. We're back.
All right.
In the movie, obviously, you go into a dream, and there is something that everybody makes in order to reassure themselves that they are still dreaming or they're in the real world. They call them totems. What we see is kind of like a spinning top that Leo uses as his totem. And we see Ellen Page make her own totem. Every character has one. And that makes sense. That totally makes sense, because if you spend a lot of time in certain layers of dreams, you might not believe that when you wake up, you're in the real world, which again is another major plot point for certain characters. At the end of the movie, there's an infamous shot, and it has spread on whether or not what we see is still a dream or is it reality. And Christopher Nolan has been almost completely silent on the movie. The theory that I'm going to talk about is that the totem that Leonardo DiCaprio's character, Cobb, uses isn't actually his totem. If you look at it very carefully, and again, this is just something I've noticed on repeat viewings as well as just looking up the movie information online, when Leo is in the waking world, he does not have a wedding ring on his ring finger. However, when he is in the sleeping world, he is always shown with a wedding ring. So the theory is that the totem that he uses, the spinning top, is not actually his totem, but instead it is his wedding ring. What I would like to know from you guys is, do you agree with that theory or do you not agree with that theory? Also, let us know in the comments, do you think that the ending of the movie is Leo still in a dream, or did he actually wake up? I would love to discuss that with you guys. I'd love to see your thoughts and your opinions on it. What are you giving this movie?
I'm going to be generous and give it a 3 out of 5, because there is so much I want to love in this movie.
I think that's criminal. Honestly, I give this movie a 4.5 out of 5. The reason I can't is because, like I've already said, the plot point's a little complex, a little convoluted, but 4.5 out of 5. I love this movie. I would recommend it to so many people. I recommend it to you if you haven't seen it. So 4.5 out of 5 for me.
All right. That is our review of Inception, and definitely go check it out and let us know, as he said. Write in the comments. Let us know what your thoughts are. Do you think it's a 4.5, or do you think it's a 3 like me? I know I'm in the minor in this, but I'm okay with that.
Also, let us know what you thought about the video. Make sure to comment, like, subscribe, share it with your friends. Get that conversation going, because you never know what's going to happen next. You never know what movie we're going to review next. Thank you so much for joining us, and have yourselves a wonderful day.